Students, you've made it. You've made it to that point where you're not living paycheck to paycheck. Your paycheck comes in and you spend it on all the expenses that you have lining up in the month. You can actually save a little bit of money. And you're saving and you're saving and you're saving, and before you know it, you have $1,000 saved. It's like, awesome. Congratulations. $1,000 saved is a huge accomplishment. So what are you going to do with it? Well, you could leave it in your bank, right? And if you leave it in your bank account, then it'll just stay there, right? You'll have saved it, but it's not going to grow. Money in a regular bank account is not going to grow. It's going to flatline. It's just going to stay the same. So if you had $1,000 today, it would be worth $1,000 tomorrow. It would be $1,000 in a year. It would be $1,000 in 10 years. It's just going to stay the same. You don't want to do that. What you want to do is put it into a savings account so that you can actually make more money on your money. It's kind of like a hard thing to think about. How does this work? You see, here's how a bank makes money. They take the money that's in your bank account and they lend it to other people, but charge them a fee for doing so. So the bank is making money off your money. But you can put your money into a savings account and then the bank will say, well, since we're making money off your money, then we'll give you a small piece of that. So basically, it's like the bank giving you a little bit of money for using your money. I just said the word money about 50 times. So let's take a look down here at the graph to try and understand what it means. The bank is going to pay you interest. And in this example, we're going to look at simple interest, which means looking at interest less than 1 year. There's a different calculation if you want to understand how long-term interest impacts your money. So here we have a savings account in dollars, and we have our $1,000 at the beginning of the year. Right, so I'm just going to put a data point right there. And if we were just in a regular checking account with our bank, this wouldn't grow at all. It would flatline. It's worth $1,000 the entire year. You need to put that money to work. And what I mean by that is opening up a savings account, because instead of making 0% growth, a savings account typically offers anywhere between 0 and 3% interest. It kind of depends on the savings account. So you need to shop around. So you could type into a search engine, savings interest, highest savings interest. Which bank should I open a savings account with? And look around and try and find one of the higher interest-bearing accounts with a bank that perhaps has a branch in your location. So between 0%, well, we don't want that, or potentially 3%, let's kind of do something in the middle. Let's say that you choose a bank that offers a 2% savings rate, savings interest rate, because it has a branch in your city. And you like, potentially going in and interacting with the bankers and learning more about what you can do with your money to make it grow. So branch in your city. So that's why you chose it. So a 2% savings rate. Well, what does that mean? That means that you make 2% on your money every year. So that's an annual savings rate. So what does that mean in terms of the math? Well, 2% is like 2/100ths. So if we multiply this, it'll be 0, 0, 0, and then multiply it finally by the 1, and we'll get to 2. All right, so these 2 decimal places, we'll get rid of those 2 tenths places, or hundredths. So this is hundredths. Let me write this down. That's hundreds, the 2 zeros right there, and this is hundredths. So those will divide to create 1, and we have 1 more 0. Okay? So your money is going to earn $20 in that year, which is pretty cool. You turned $1,000 into $1,000 plus $20 more by basically doing nothing except opening up a savings account that earned you 2% interest. So simple interest says, well, how much was that growing throughout the year? Well, if we split the year into quarters, right? A quarter of a year is 3 months, a half a year is 6 months, 3/4 of a year is 9 months, and a full year is 12 months, we can figure out how much money your money was earning throughout the year. So 3 months into this, you would earn a quarter of that money. So if you divide this by 4, you'll know that 4 goes into 25 times. So you're earning $5 per quarter. And a quarter is defined as 3 months in the year. So let's go ahead and graph this new line. So we go from 1,000 to 1,005. So we got $5 the first quarter. And then we get another $5 the next quarter. So we'll be up to 1,010. And then another $5 up to 1,015 the next quarter. And then after the full year, we'll be at 1,020. We'll connect these, the smooth line. You can see this is a linear function. It goes up by the same amount each time. So up $5 over 3 months, up $5 over 3 months, up $5 over 3 months, up $5 over 3 months. So simple interest is when you have an interest rate as a percentage that is growing your money. And you only want to do this for time periods of less than 1 year. You might be asking yourself, like, oh, Mr. Rogers, you've said this twice now. Like, why can I only do this for 1 year? Don't I want to save for a long period of time? The answer is yes. But what happens is that this is a linear function when in fact interest is actually an exponential function, because it's not $1,000 at 2% the whole year. After 3 months, you have $1,005. So you actually need to multiply the 2% by $1,005. And then 6 months into it, you're going to have a little bit more than $1,010, and you need to multiply that by 2%. So what's happening is you're growing money on top of the savings that you've already experienced. So you get like growth on top of growth. And over 1 year, simple interest and this other interest calculation are basically the same. But over like 5, 10, 15, 20 years, they're drastically different. So only do simple interest for less than a year, and it's a good back of the envelope to understand about how much your money's going to be growing. At 2% on 1,000, you'll get about $20. It's actually going to be a little bit more than that because your money is growing on top of ever-growing piles of cash. Isn't that a cool thing to think about? Have a great day. Talk to you later.